Hello, dear Libra. I'm Jamie Dawn, your revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your September 2021 horoscope. And I'm going to say happy birthday because the sun will move into your sign on the 22nd. I will talk about that. But before I do, let's start at the beginning of the month with Mars in Virgo. It's going to be opposing Neptune in Pisces, and this is activating your 12th and 6th house. So something that you want to just kind of look at as you lead up into a new moon in Virgo, which will also be activating that 12th house. Just watch for any tendency to feel defeated before you've really given something a good shot at it, you know? And this can be in relationship that maybe you've been struggling with a particular friendship or romance, and maybe you're dating and you're like, oh, I'm ready to give up already because it just doesn't seem to be working out. And I'm going to offer that with the Neptune energy in that 6th house, it has a tendency to create a little bit of an illusion around, you know, your critical mind. And it has a bit of an illusion around maybe what you feel is a self-improvement, development, you know, that sort of thing. And then when you have Virgo in that 12th house, it adds another layer of criticism that could get active. And so what I offer to you is try not to go so far into making up your mind already. With Mars here, you may be driven to figure something out pretty fast, and it has to make practical sense and all of that. But in this 12th house, it has a tendency to lose some of its energy. It gets wrapped up in the illusion of things. And you may have a great deal of energy and drive. At the same time, your confidence could be lacking if you're not able to put yourself first, if you're not able to put maybe some of health stuff going on for you, or if you're in your day-to-day routine, your habits, and they just don't seem to fulfill you. And then you're looking at, say, relationship, and maybe you're beloved, or maybe there's somebody you're dating and they're not lining up. And so you get super critical. So in other words, please don't sabotage yourself before you have a chance to really give the situation its good dues. And I say that because the overall theme for the month of September and October, Mercury retrograde, and it's in your sign, it's in Libra. And so it's going to have us thinking about relationships. It's going to have us talking about subject matters. It's going to have us going really within and looking at, you know, what is it that I need most, or what do I want most, or how do I connect? And there can be misunderstandings. There's going to be multiple conversations that show up, and relationship dynamics, people from the past, could be friendship, it could be romantic, it could be business, but whatever it may be, people from our past are coming back to revisit certain subject matters. And you may be also looking at that. And with this energy, now, as we begin the month leading into the new moon, you may be looking at ways in which you can maybe have a little bit more romance, but also ways in which you can connect to that higher self, that higher wisdom inside of you. And you're looking to overcome anything that's vague. You know, you want to put some practical magic to all the hopes and dreams that you have, especially when it comes to your health and your daily life, as well as what you do for a living and what you do who you connect with on a regular basis. The positive side of this energy right now is you could get your dream job. So if you're looking at working maybe in a medical or service field, or somewhere that you can have extra caring and compassion, this is a great time for you to maybe get some news about it. It's perfect, especially, let's say you're on vacation and then we have this new moon in Virgo on Labor Day, and I would sense that maybe you start your new job when you return, or you get the news of the interview, or you get the news of this new role beginning, and then you get to start in the next couple of weeks. This is also a great time for alternative medicine. So if you're looking for some solutions, if you've had some health stuff going on, this is a great time for you to talk to your professional and say, okay, here's what I want to do for myself. It's especially highlighted with mental health. So maybe you get into something like neurolinguistic programming or past life regression, or maybe you take on a psychologist that also offers Reiki. I mean, there's so many different ways that this could show up in an alternative way. Of course, there's a negative impact to this as well, where you can get a little confused in jobs that require so much detail. You may find that you're better when you don't have to deal with the detail stuff and you get somebody else to do it. There could be a bit of an illusion about what actually needs to be done, and you could find yourself in this last week of August 1st of September, you could find yourself checking out. And what I will say is that it also offers, there could be some deception at work. People are not what they appear to be. Maybe you're a leader and some of your teammates are just not reliable. Maybe you're in school and you're having to work on a group project and nobody's showing up. There's ways in which this can also impact you. And what I offer is that it sets us up for this new moon in Virgo, which is trining Uranus. So your 12th and 8th house are going to be active. 8th house is all about how we add deeper value to our partnerships and relationships, how we bond really deeply and transform ourselves and another and our joint resources. It's also the house of death and taxes. But the reason being is that death is transformational. There's a huge transition. Now, with this new moon trining Uranus, anything can go. This can be so unpredictable. And remember that a new moon here in your 12th house activates the imagination, the dreams, and your past. So you may be looking at what is it that, what do you dream of? And then here comes this 8th house trine with Uranus, that it could bring in some new money, an inheritance of sorts. That allows you to be able to put your hopes and dreams into place. Or maybe you receive news that some tax rebate was coming to you. And it may also be that something gets activated where you feel like you want more intimacy with yourself, with another, with spirit, with the subconscious. And in order to do that, you pull in, you do some meditating, you retreat. That's that 12th house. You find some seclusion. It's perfect for a new moon. And with it being in Virgo, it should give you some very precise understanding of what you want next. This is a great time to set some intentions. How do you want to manifest your dreams? How do you communicate those dreams? What do you need? What resources do you need in order to make that happen? That's that 8th house activation. It may also be where dream state reveals something to you that you can actually put into tangible form. So ask your questions and then write down whatever answer you get through your dream state. Now, the other thing I would say is that there could be something that shows up, raising your awareness to some bad habits, maybe some critical thinking, or maybe there was an escape that you were using of some sort. We can all escape through something. I do it through travel. Some people may do it through drugs and alcohol. Some people may do it through exercise, food. All of that comes into play here. And you may be setting new habits in which you can stay in the middle of whatever's showing up, whatever may create some consternation for you. And now you have the skills and you have the tools to be able to work with them. This is a great time for you to heal, to rest, to give some self-care. Mercury will be in your sign. It entered on August 30th. It's staying there because of the retrograde all through the month of September and into October. And it goes into its shadow on this new moon day. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, but I want to stay with this new moon for just a little bit longer because it will give you more awareness about some of the things that maybe you didn't see before. There could be some secrets or mysteries that suddenly come out. So do keep in mind that not all secrets are bad. It could be if you're in a relationship and you just started dating or you've been dating a while that your person says, hey, I really like you more than just a friend, or I love you, or let's move in together. I mean, there just could be so many different ways that this could show up. And like I say, I would imagine that with this 12th house, which is going to also oppose Neptune in your 6th house, this has a lot to do with your habits that you really look at. Maybe you can overcome anything that feels addictive or anything that feels as though it just doesn't serve you or another anymore. So that further enhances who you are and how you show up in the world. Now, Venus will move into Scorpio on September 10th, and that activates your 2nd house. Venus is our planet of love, beauty, pleasure, attraction, finances, but values as well. And the reason that values and finances tend to go together is if you want to know what someone values, find where they spend their money. Because, or resources, should I say, time and energy are also part of this. And Venus has been in your sign, which is lovely, activating more beauty and harmony for yourself. But when she moves into Scorpio, she's going to be activating that 2nd house, which is all about connection with materials, with financial security, with wealth, the physical body. And Venus will have this adoration going on for everything about food and money and accessories and things like that. So she may really activate where you love to spend your money, right? And opportunities to spend your money, because you can attract. Venus is an attractor, and then she's also a sharer. So you may be attracting ways in which you can share more of the things that you have. In Scorpio, it has this really deep emotional connection. So you may find yourself really connected to your body. You may find yourself connected to your money. You may find yourself emotionally invested in your possessions. And if you're giving something away, that may be very difficult, especially if you have a lot of sentimentality on it. But I would also offer that you're really good at noticing true intentions of others. So before you give something you value away, understanding their intention is always a good thing. And also checking in, what are your intentions? Because I can tell you, Venus in Scorpio, it's very hard to fool anybody, because you're going to make sure that you go really deep into understanding, why am I wanting what I want? Why is it that I've attracted this? And then why do I want to give this something away? Now, you may be attracted, or you could attract mysterious ways, because Scorpio is mysterious and taboo, and it likes to go really deep into the underworld. And you could find other mysterious ways to attract income or find value in your personal life. Some of you may decide during this time to start a tarot business. Or you may decide to expand your woo-woo business, if you will, your metaphysical business, your alternative business. There's certainly sensuality and sex implied here as well, that some of you may decide that you're going to launch a business during this time that has everything to do with sensuality, right? It could be something as simple as maybe you make soap that's infused with these beautiful scents, but also with Reiki, right? And you're saying, this is how I want to make some income. You may find that these sensual items that you adorn yourself with is important to you during this time, and it can increase your value and your income through the way in which you give and receive love, the way in which you give and receive not just romantic love, but love for humanity, love for yourself, love for your possessions. I would also say that you'll probably look around and say, what do I need to tend to so that I can continue to nurture it, make it better, and let whatever this is feel more connected to myself. In your relationships, you may be striving for a sense of belonging. You want to be very close to your partner, sometimes maybe actually devouring them, and so you may do so by buying them gifts, or you may do so by increasing your income so that you can go travel with them, right? And I have a feeling that with Venus sitting here, that you may find new ways in which you can basically wrap your arms around this person and say, don't leave me. I'm going to hold on to you forever. And I get really jealous if you're not around me all the time. please be careful of that. That's the shadow side. Remember that choosing to be with each other is so much more available and freeing. And that's really what love is all about, right? And let your partner know that they're safe with you. That's something else that I know you do really well, Libra. Now, Mars enters your sign. So that means that it's crossing your ascendant. This is for your Libra sun, moon, or rising, but I'm placing it on the ascendant here. And so Mars enters your sign on September 15th. So here it is crossing your first house, really making you interested or more interesting, if you will, around how you show up in the world, what drives you, and what are you passionate about. Also, it has a bit of a survival mode. So you may be in a place where you want a relationship. Many of you Libras want relationship, you're best in relationship, and if you're already in one, it may be where you grab your partner and you say, this is how we need to do things as a power couple, how we show up in the world. And this is also a good indication of the person that you would be attracted to if you're single or interact with. The biggest drive here for Mars and Libra is to have others around you. So you will most likely want to collaborate. You'll be very social during this time. I would imagine that your social calendar will drive you more than your work calendar, even though there are obligations and things to do. Just keep in mind, Mars is ruled by Aries, or Aries is ruled by Mars, I should say. And when Mars is in Aries, it's driven, it's passionate, it's independent, it's assertive, it goes for it. It's the opposite when it's in Libra. It's more passive. It definitely can have its own drive, but the drive is really for balance, for fairness, for fun and equality. And in doing so, that means there's a lot of negotiating and there's a lot of diplomacy that happens. So you may be really driven to resolve conflict, believe it or not. I know Libra gets a bad rap about avoidance and not wanting to mix things up. But certain subject matters, I feel, are going to be stirred up, especially during Mercury retrograde, because all these things are coming back from the past, that you're not going to run from the conflict. You actually, with Mars here, can give you the energy and the drive to face it and find solutions that is a win-win situation. So that's the real benefit here. So, and also with Mars on your first house like this, it makes you very charismatic. It can also give you sort of this passionate energy that when you show up in the world, people listen. You have great influence, especially when the sun moves into your sign on the 22nd, which I'll get to in a second. Now, the sun will stay in Virgo until the 22nd. So on the 17th, it makes a trine to Pluto, which is in Capricorn, squaring off with your sun, moon, or rising. And then we have Venus squaring off with Saturn. So Venus in Scorpio will be squaring off with Saturn in Aquarius. This again activates that 12th house and second house, but also your fourth and fifth. And so most likely you'll be finding solutions, and this is where something from the past could come up, where you start talking about where's home? What is it that feels really at home for me? And how do I do this maybe in a way that I can stop and just think about it for a minute and put some details into place? Some of you may be traveling during this time, and you do so because it will activate an opportunity for you to maybe spend some money, but also receive some money during this time. And you may have to make decisions to take on a opportunity. This is that second and fifth house that costs money, or you have to give your possessions away, or you're picking up more possessions, and it may not line up with, say, a lover, or it may not line up with what you think is fun or pleasurable for that fifth house. It may, create a little tension in the creativity. You may just have to be in the mundane stuff, which isn't always fun. But I would imagine that whatever gets activated here for you will have some transformational quality. It will give you a new sense of power, and it will allow you to realize that your life really is moving forward in a positive way. Now, we have a full moon in Pisces on September 20th. This is more activation with that sixth house. So a sixth house theme here. And this can really bring to the surface anything you've been neglecting as far as work or your health or well-being. Some of you may be dealing with, say, healthcare issues, or you may be, you've been playing a little more than you should. Now at this full moon, it all comes to light how you have to revisit this and either get your shit together, or you could be in trouble at work. Some of you may even be let go. And I don't say that to scare anybody. Just remember that rejection is God's protection. And if you're in that situation, you know that something better is coming. And I'm telling you it is, especially as the sun moves into your sign and Mercury retrograde. There may be an opportunity from the past that comes back for you to give you new income. Now, it's often during a full moon that we can see the benefits to anything that we have been working towards. So this could be a goal that you have at work. It could be a health or fitness goal or a lifestyle. We're talking about the habits. It's also a great time to break habits, to let go. So further emphasis on anything that has been toxic. Now, with relationship being important to you, Libra, this also has a make or break kind of feeling when it comes to certain relationships in your life, if they have been toxic. If you have been engaging way too much time and energy in the person that isn't giving back to you, or is draining your energy, or creating mental or physical health issues, this is the time where I feel like you may let this go. Now, the other thing that may happen around this full moon and into the 22nd, when the sun's in your sign, is that real feelings, true feelings may come up, and you may share them. And someone else may share them if it's not you. And this could bring out strong desire. And it may even cause you to go, yeah, I think it's time for me to make some changes. The great thing is that when the sun enters your sign on the 22nd, you'll be in the limelight. You will have all the charisma, all the influence you need. It's a great time to grab every opportunity available to you, even though Mercury's in shadow and will retrograde a few days later. Now, the reason that I'm keep pointing to the Mercury retrograde is I feel as though all these things from the past that are coming back and you having all this influence, you should have a real strong sense of identity and all this creativity, which is great because you'll be noticed. And like I say, you get the influence, but with Mercury retrograde in your sign, it may be very easy for people to misunderstand what you're actually trying to communicate, whether it's how you act, how you look, or what you say. And I think that this Mercury retrograde, most importantly, is going to drive you to be understood. You want people to understand your heart. You want people to understand who you are, to do your own thing. And it may be very easy for people to misunderstand, or maybe you're not communicating as clearly as you think you are. And so it causes tension, and you'll have to revisit that. On the positive side, this can also put you in a counselor, advisor role, or where you become that person that shares and is valued with their opinion that others come to. And they're like, oh, well, this Libra knows all about it. I need to talk to them about my relationship. And you'll notice that as they talk about what their dynamics are in their relationship, it may be reflective of what's happening for you. You may decide, as you're listening to them, that you can take pieces and parts of that and apply it to your own life. Now, how you approach the world may need to be rethought during this Mercury retrograde. How you approach relationships. If there has been a relationship that you've been sort of flip-flopping on, you're not sure about, this could be a chance for you to talk to that person and give them a little bit more information, as well as you receive some information that can bring some clarity. I understand retrogrades tend to have fogginess to them, and that is true. But if you're willing to stay with it and remind yourself not everything is as it appears to be, then you can get some clarity around it. Also, I would say you're probably going to be evaluating and reevaluating, what is it that really makes me happy? What is it that I really do in my own unique way? How do I express it? How do I want to show up? You could find yourself tripping over your words, or maybe having a difficult time expressing yourself during this retrograde. I think the biggest theme here, most of all for you, is that there are relationships, and maybe one in particular, that is going to come back for you to reevaluate, for you to really navigate. And I offer, if you aren't confident in what you're saying or what you want, pause, take a breath, take a break, just allow the spaciousness to be there for a little bit. I think that is going to serve you so much more. If you're single and you're looking for romance, this is a time to socialize. You will most likely meet somebody, but take your time. Again, not everything is as it appears to be. So because you may present yourself as one thing, when Mercury goes direct again in October, you may say, oh, wait a minute, this is really what I was trying to say, or this is really how I was trying to present myself, or the other person may do the same. Also, don't get discouraged if you meet somebody during this time and it doesn't work out. Really look at it as an opportunity to play, to have fun, and just to connect. And trust that timing is important. It's interesting. I'm going to share this with you, Libra, because I think you can resonate with this. We often get caught up in the timing of things. And one of the things that Spirit revealed to me the other day was that for me, my interpretation now of time isn't based on numbers. It's not based on a timeline. It's based on an experience. So maybe we can start reframing the way we look at time. And we can say, what time is it? Well, it's time for this experience. Who knows? Play with that. But remember, with Mercury retrograde, it's all about the REs, revisit, redo, rejuvenate. So again, trust that the universe has your back. I am so grateful to be able to offer this to you, Libra. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Tell me what you think, and find me at jamiedawn.com. Have a great month.